So you did mention Hassan there, so I guess that's a good little, way into this. There was this very recent controversy of his where, there was an editor who was editing some videos for him. He was looking for a full-time YouTube editor, and then,
Uh-huh.
the guy releases the DM logs, and Hassan's like, he's requesting content from this guy and stuff, and he didn't pay him anything, and so this guy comes forward, and then Destiny jumps on that as well, and everybody jumps on it. I just want to know your thoughts on that whole controversy as a whole, especially because you yourself are a big YouTuber, so I'm sure you have some experience in that area.
I mean, yeah, I work with other people. I try to do my best that I can by the people who I work with the most consistently. I was just honestly talking with someone or having an email with someone today about like a merch project that didn't end up panning out, and he was unhappy about it. And there are times when I fuck up, and there are times when I'm not as on following through with working with people as I should be, especially when it has to do with like, oh, I need a graphic design thing. Sometimes my schedule gets the best of me and I get distracted with other shit. And, I forget who I'm talking to or what I'm trying to develop. So, I mean, I guess that happens, but, Hassan, I mean, I don't know enough about his relationship with this guy, and I have not read those logs. So I'm not sure, like, how bad, the whole situation is, honestly. I mean, I think at the end of the day, to respond to this situation, though, as if Hassan is like, I don't know what, a member of the bourgeoisie, and like he's like a fucking like a member of the owner class, because he didn't handle this contractor, because it seems like he was kind of working with the guy on a contractor basis, and the guy was looking for full-time work down the road. He didn't handle this guy who he was contracting or working with on a case-by-case basis as well as he could. Keep in mind, I guess, as long as it doesn't seem like Hassan was doing something overtly nefarious here, he's just a fucking YouTuber who is like not a business owner, or rather not an experienced business owner, and probably doesn't even have his fucking shit like trademarked or LLC'd. I don't even think his YouTube channel is doing that well in general, from what I understand. Not to like shit on the guy or anything, but like clearly he's not running the most tight ship that somebody could potentially run. So I mean, I would recommend to people out there who are trying to be editors for other YouTubers, don't expect too much. I mean, YouTubers are usually mentally fried because they're trying to put out content all the time, and are usually tired, and sometimes are egotistical, and are distracted by their work, by their social media presence, by a host of other things, trying to prioritize others unless the money is just rolling the fuck in, can be pretty difficult. So again, not to try to soften Hassan's image too much, because I don't know that much about the situation. But there are a host of legitimate reasons that whole thing could have just crumbled in the way that it did and didn't pan out into anything more full time. And maybe Hassan is just like not all that good at sort of explaining this, or putting it out there in a way that makes him seem compelling or understood. I don't know, really. I honestly don't.
There were a lot of people, some people on the left, Destiny also, he's not obviously on the left, but there were some lefties who were going after him, calling him like a
Mm.
fake socialist and stuff like that. Do you think that he is sort of a faux socialist, if you will, and he's this, he's not really that. He's a big capitalist type of guy. He's got all these racks, and he's not paying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one could see it as a little hypocritical, but I think uh, at the end of the day, I think Hassan is in a position, especially living in on the fucking West Coast, where he has bills and financial needs just like anybody else. I'm not sure if again, I don't know how much money Hassan makes at the end of the day. I don't know how financially, I guess, viable it is for him to basically run his Twitch and YouTube channel like a fucking co-op. You know what I mean? um, given the current economy that we live in, And the way that YouTube and usual most social media sites pay their creators, whether it be through fan donations or advertising dollars, unless you're like again like racking in tens and tens and tens of millions of views, and you're putting out so much content that you require others to be on camera and like a million other things. It can be kind of difficult to uh, I guess sort of envision your little online enterprise as being something that you run in a cooperative or sort of own in a cooperative way. And personally, while I like the idea of co-ops, I personally, if we were to, sort of instill some laws that make it easier or even require for co-ops to exist into the future, in the weird fucking far out scenario where that would even be a thing, I personally wouldn't really see any, I guess, real. I want to say functional purpose in requiring all businesses, even maybe 2 or 3 or 4 person businesses, to be cooperatively owned. Unless you're talking about like major corporations here, where tens of thousands of people are working under sort of like one fucking billionaire. Then I don't really see too much of a need in sort of like forcing or encouraging any kind of like cooperative ownership. Like if you fucking are one person running a cupcake stand or a cupcake truck, and you have 2 people who you pay to work with you on the cupcake truck, and they agree to work for that wage with you on the cupcake truck, to me that's not like a fucking sin of the world. Obviously, I agree with elements of the labor theory of value, and I don't disagree that there are elements of exploitation at work there. But is that as great an injustice to society as like Amazon workers not being able to pull the truck over and get a drink if they're thirsty, or having to piss in bottles while they're working on the floor of the distribution center? No, that is not like as great a sin as that. To me, things like socialism and things like co-ops and cooperative ownership of businesses should be focused on fixing problems like that. Not these awkward business type tiffs between a video editor who's freelancing and a content creator who, honestly, while Hasan has a platform, he's not fucking PewDiePie. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably not running this multi-million-dollar YouTube enterprise. And again, that's not to shit on the guy or what he does. Like, obviously, there are lots of people who are fans of Hasan. But, speaking as someone whose platform is larger than Hasan's, again, I'm not in a dick measuring contest here. But, even with a larger brand and platform and everything than what Hasan has right now, there are a lot of things business-wise that I could be doing better. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine what, loose ends and, sort of like I guess sort of like unsolved problems that Hasan is working with day in and day out with what he's doing.
So you basically think this is just pretty overblown?
I think it's slightly overblown. I mean, look, Hasan has put out, with his debate style and with his, I guess, combative energy on social media and in the political space, like he's put out a lot of, not the most positive energy out there. And I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of doing that too. Like, obviously I don't put out positive energy all the fucking time. Like, I put out negative reviews and not good reviews quite often. So, we're all guilty of it. But, given some of the negative energy that Hasan has put out into the social media space, like, you have to consider that, like, unless you are fucking keeping your nose like the cleanest fucking nose on the internet, all that shit is going to come the fuck back around and bite you. The moment that people see you like, oh, you're fucking up. You fucked up, bro. You fucked the fuck up. It's fucking game time now.
And they're especially doing that with Hasan too, because so many people hate him to such like severe lengths.
Yeah, yeah. And there are people who hate me to severe lengths. And there are times in the past when people have thought like, oh, we got Fantano this time. He's down for the fucking count. And, like, I bounce back.
There's been times like that? I've never seen those.
Yeah, there have been times like that. There have been times like that.
Wow,
but I bounce back because I've got the fucking best teeth in the game. And look,
Nothing
if
can take
Hasan,
you down.
if Hasan can figure out a way to keep his head down and smooth this over and do right by this guy, and save face a little bit, he'll live to twitch another day. So, it is what it is.